Simply, there's just three words to sum up last season: Paris Saint-Germain. They won the Ligue once again. They won also the League Cup, which was the first domestic double in the history. Ibrahimovic was named Player of the Season. But Monaco gave them a bit of a run as well, and so was Lille. At least until Christmas, James Rodriguez was a great player for Monaco, especially after Falcao got injured in January, which was a shame because we would have liked to see Monaco with Falcao and James Rodriguez through the whole season. Yeah, this season, once again, will be PSG against the rest of the country. It's as simple as that. They haven't lost any of their big players in Paris. Ibrahimovic is still there, Cavani is still there, Thiago Silva is still there, Verratti is still there. And they've added as well David Luiz, obviously from Chelsea, on a massive deal of £50 million. They've added Serge Aurier, the very promising Ivory Coast right back who came on loan from Toulouse. And in the meantime, Monaco have lost James Rodriguez. Marseille are in all reconstruction under their new manager, Marcelo Bielsa. Lyon have lost Bafétimbi Gomis, for example, who was one of the best strikers. Lille were the big surprise of last season, and they've kept more or less the same squad going into this season. But you wonder if there was just one season wonder. The other very interesting thing in France this season is we've got 7 clubs who changed manager in the summer. Some of them have given new managers their first experience, as head coach. For example, Bastia have appointed Claude Makélélé, the former Chelsea midfielder, who was assistant at PSG under both Laurent Blanc and Carlo Ancelotti, but now has decided that it was his time to be number one, and it'll be very interesting to see how he does at Bastia. It's the same for Willy Sagnol, the former Bayern Munich defender and France defender, who was named as head coach for Bordeaux this summer. And again, he's arrived with fresh new ideas, exactly like Makélélé at Bastia. And it'll be very interesting to see what kind of football his team plays, how he develops as a head coach. In terms of transfer this summer in France, once again, it's all about Paris Saint-Germain. They've signed two big players, one especially David Luiz from Chelsea in a £50 million deal just before the World Cup as well. Considering financial fair play hit PSG quite hard, only allowing them to do one big transfer to up to £60 million, and after that having to sell before buying. They put all their eggs in the same basket with David Luiz. You could see, especially after we saw the World Cup, that it's a bit risky. However, Laurent Blanc sees Luiz as a partnership with Thiago Silva, not just a player on his own. They bought him because they think him and Silva have the potential to be the biggest partnership as centre-halves in the whole of Europe. The other big transfer for PSG is Serge Aurier, the Ivory Coast right back, who was at Toulouse, who had to come on loan because of financial fair play, because PSG couldn't afford to buy him and balance their books, which is quite interesting. And the third one, which is a bit special one, is Divock Origi, the Belgian striker who left Lille and then came back. I think it was very important for Lille and for French football to be able to keep him. And I think Liverpool understood that. He's going to play Champions League football with Lille, so he's going to continue his progress, continue to improve in the French League instead of coming so early in the Premier League with Liverpool. With emerging talents in France, in Ligue 1, they've gone for the first one to Monaco, and Anthony Martial, who is a striker who's only 18, had some good moments, good games last season, scored a few important goals, then got injured, and the last 6 months of the season were a bit tougher for him. However, he's a fantastic talent. He's like Thierry Henry. At the same age, he's got pace, he's very good in front of goals, he's got skills, he makes good runs, he's a clever player, and I think he's probably by far the most promising of all the young strikers we've got. For the second player, I've gone for another striker who's a bit older, just 1 year older, he's 19, he's called Neil Maupay, he plays for Nice, he's half French, half Argentinian, exactly like David Trezeguet in a way. And he was the second youngest player in France to score in Ligue 1 at just before 17. Again, his progress has been slowed down by injuries last season, but I expect him to be fully fit and very, very strong this year coming with Nice. Another player to watch for next season in France is Paul Georges-Ntep, the Rennes offensive midfielder. Signed 6 months ago from second division club Auxerre, and in the last 6 months made a massive impact in the team, scored 5 goals in the league in 10 appearances. He's a very strong player, he can play on the wing, he can play behind the striker. He's got a very good strike on the ball, he's a clever player, he can create chances because of his pace and of his skills, but he can also finish. From a fan's perspective, I think this is a very important season for one thing. First, there's the momentum of the World Cup. I mean, that has been massive. After what happened in 2010, what happened at the Euros in 2012, all those problems, I think the good World Cup by the French national team has made the French fans, the French public, fall in love with football again in a way. And I think the viewing figures, for example, for the World Cup were massive. And you can see the excitement now after the World Cup. People wanted the League to start, or almost as soon as the World Cup finished, people were saying, okay, now we're gearing up for the League. And all that excitement comes from the World Cup because France had a good World Cup. I think it would have been a terrible summer if France had crashed again in the first round of the World Cup, or if we had another problem with the squad, with the players, with attitude. Even if some of our big players have left, like Valbuena, like James Rodriguez, like Cabella, there's still a lot of excitement around PSG, around Monaco. People want their club to do well. And don't forget as well that in 2 years' time we've got the Euros at home. You know, we're building beautiful stadiums, modern stadiums everywhere, in Lyon, in Bordeaux. In Paris right now, the Parc des Princes is being refurbished. They're doing something incredible with the Parc des Princes, which was already a very beautiful stadium right in the heart of Paris. So all of that, I think, has brought so much momentum. You know, we're already looking forward to 2 years' time with the Euros at home. We're already looking forward to the League. We want to see PSG and Monaco in the Champions League, and Lille as well. See how they can do. Can PSG go a step higher and go, for example, to the semi-final, maybe the final of the Champions League? What can Monaco do? Can Monaco, who will strengthen their squad now that they've got the money from the James Rodriguez deal, expect them to sign 3-4 more players, quite good players as well? How they will compete with the other big European clubs, what Lille can do. And I think all of that has made it really interesting for the fans in France.